Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, what a long time it has been. It feels like forever between Assen and Belgium, but we're finally here for the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, an incredible circuit, and I'm sure it's going to provide some incredible racing to boot at the same time. I'm joined once again by Zach Swader. Here we are for the Belgian Grand Prix. Zach, we're over halfway in the season now. Kevin Jacobs leads the way, DRS is on, and we all know what kind of racing Spa produces.
Indeed, 2012 Formula One is a great example. Everyone going into turn one with that massive chaos, so crash, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. But we're expecting a zero-stop strategy, Toby, which is very interesting compared to some of the other races that we've seen. But due to the long nature of the circuit with straightaways, you don't really get as much tire wear as you do because of the long straightaway coming through the Kemmel Straight after Eau Rouge. So I have to see, as long as people don't fight each other, we shouldn't have to worry about tire wear. But yeah, Kevin Jacobs has been dominating this season, Toby, and it's going to be very interesting to see everyone trying to go after him to try to slow his pace down.
He's really been on fire, has that man in the NORL car. It's been his strongest season without a doubt to boot, especially in the AIC, but it's James Underhill who will take the front row by under half a tenth from Dougie Agmerv. Man, crazy that there's less than a tenth separating the top four. An incredible strategy we saw through qualifying. Several cars were using different variants of slipstream with their partners to try and get the edge on the field. Now, you can see it's James Underhill's best result in qualifying, as it is for Juan Navarro as well. So them two will be looking to make places up as Charles McBee does round out the top 10, just 2.5 tenths separating the top 10.
Danny Diaz starts out the second part of this grid here with Evan Imre, who is, of course, our second place person for Force Vizzy, trying to chase down Kevin Jacobs. So this is actually something as well, because if you look, Kevin Jacobs didn't really have that good of a qualifying attempt because of the slipstream deal. He's all the way down at 19th, so this could be the chance that everyone's been looking for to try to knock some of his momentum down, Kevin Jacobs. And so, especially with Evan Imre, you'll be knowing he's one to go into the points right now. Josh Martin starts out 13th, followed by Damian Haskins, Christopher Pedersen, Jonathan Guerrero, Craig McLeod Evans, Ross McFarlane, and then Colin McAllister is behind Kevin Jacobs with 19th and 20th. And of course, Chester Jackson and Zach Swader, who had a qualifying ban because of his incident in Austin, will be, of course, starting last on the grid. So he'll be the one to watch out for the turn one chaos, Toby, as we start to get ready for this Grand Prix.
Indeed, there is almost guaranteed to be first corner chaos at Spa. There always is. But worthy to mention as well, first race for August, the new team taking over from V-Racer. So Josh Martin and Ross McFarlane will be hoping to get some points on the board for them. Hopefully find themselves a new home going forward. But we get ready then for them 5 red lights. We can hear the engines power up. Hear the new beat. You hear 2. You hear 3. Now 4. And that is the 5th one, and it's lights out, and away we go. It looks like Douglas Anderson has got the start of his dreams, because he's straight ahead into the lead going into turn 1. Bad start for James Underhill as Gareth Lennon looks like he's going up the inside. A little bit of contact in the background. I can see a lot of front wings going here, there, and everywhere. But we're off pretty much safely down to turn up to the next one, which is Eau Rouge, and James Underhill immediately under pressure loses that position to Gareth Lennon, down into 3rd from 1st, and he's already under pressure from Juan Navarro. Goes defensive, covers off the outside line. Is he going to be able to use that momentum to get back past Gareth Lennon? No, it's not, as Juan Navarro looks like he's going to out-drag Callum Spencer, and he's going to be able to get up into 3rd place. Great start. Actually, no, James Underhill holds on for 3rd place, but 4th place isn't bad either for Juan Navarro. You can see the Virtual Racers Club and the Force Fizzy Boys getting all tangled together, and there's not a lot of room for error, but Kevin Jacobs up 4, 5, 6 positions now on the charge early.
And you can see right there, Nut Martinson looks like there's a little bit of contact between Kevin Jacobs, but I saw those Force Fizzy guys, they're connected, and more problems from Kevin Jacobs. He's getting left behind. That was one of the TBD cars that just went around him. And as we can tell, we see Chester Jackson up. He's one of the few, and it looks like Colin McAllister. So these two have lost their entire front wings, Toby. Probably the ones that we saw throughout that first lap incident where we saw a bunch of carbon fiber. But as you can see right here, the Force Fizzy cars, they know that it's time to pounce on Kevin Jacobs. And I think Nut Martinson is going to be running some rear gunner, because I believe that is him behind Evan Imre. So he's going to try to do what he can to help his teammate try to get up into the points here. As riding on board now with Joshua Wood, he's going to look at trying to make an overtake here. Can he make it stick on one of the other Nemesis racing cars, trying to cut down people cutting through the dirt right there. And as we're coming through now into the chicane, it looks like Colin Spencer is going to make a move down the inside of Juan Navarro. Gets it done. He's up into 3rd. And of course, all the people that notice his track behind, like the back of his hand, is of course Colin Spencer. But here comes Toby Byrne in the other TBD car, making a move on one of the Nemesis cars. And so now everything's starting to calm down. Everybody's going to mind. Well, everyone except for Toby Byrne is not going to mind. He's going to try to go for another position right there. So there you go, 2-1 for Toby Byrne. He's now up into 5th place.
What a terrible start for James Underhill. He's already down to 6th from P1 in the space of a lap. It's been an absolute nightmare for James Underhill. And there you can see the difference in caliber when it comes to start phases, as James Underhill has just been left for dead, to be honest, but he is going to try and make a comeback, as is the Nemesis car, but he's boxed in, he's got nowhere to go with it, has to settle back down. James Underhill holds onto his position, as does Byrne. Byrne already pulling a gap away from James Underhill, and you can see there's a good few seconds, so James Underhill really struggling to get these tyres switched on. The two Virtual Racers Club's cars going at it, hammer and tong. It looks like Charles McBee will win that battle. Experience over Neptitude on that one, as we can see the last few cars, and there's Colin McAllister and Juan Navarro, sorry, not Juan Navarro, his teammate Chester Jackson, both with front wing changes, as his teammate up in the podium positions. Away we go once again. Plenty of cars going through Puon, and we got a lovely sight here to behold. We can see the August car fighting away with a WSR there. Is he going to try and go around the outside of the S-Benz? No, door shut in his face. I believe that's Zach Swader he's battling with, and you're going to have to get up earlier in the morning to go around the outside of Zach in that corner as we come up to Blanchimont as the leaders come by, and it looks like Juan Navarro is all over the back of Callum Spencer. A really good start for Juan Navarro so far, and we saw this last season EQU go well around Spa. We had the mighty Danny Diaz putting on a right performance to take the win. Will he be able to do the same for EQU and take his first podium in the series? He's got to get past the Welshman first.
But I can tell you one thing, his number is number 33, and you know who else drives number 33? That's Max Verstappen. And we've seen some crazy moves from Juan Navarro, and makes him Verstappen his move, so he'll be wanting to run that number 33 on the front of his car, just like the actual Verstappen. But he's got a charging Toby Byrne behind him, so he's kind of sandwiched between a couple of very, very experienced drivers, so he'll have to be cool under pressure, because here we go, he's going to try to make the move right here. Two moves going on, that's Gareth Lennon going side by side, and he's going to remain in first place. But as you saw in the background, Toby, Juan Navarro got it done, and so that's going to allow Toby Byrne to try to catch up to the Welshman. But Gareth Lennon showing the Iron Brew is back, and they've been having some very good performances here as we coming through the field, trying to gain what we can through here. That's Ross McFarlane in the background now, so looks like these guys are starting to slow down just a little bit. But yeah, Zach Swader defending against Josh Martin that last few set of corners here. But yeah, Gareth Lennon's trying to pull away from Douglas Anderson, as we're now looking almost a 2-second lead between the two. So as we're riding on board with Colin Spencer, who just lost down to Juan Navarro in that overtake down the Camel Straight, as he'll be looking to gain back what points that he could for his one of the few podiums that he's managed to get this season.
Yeah, of course, so we can see straight away that it is Gareth Lennon taking the lead from Douglas Anderson, but he'll want to fight back. He'll have the slipstream all the way down this back straight and through Blanchimont, so he'll be looking to try and make some kind of move into the bus stop. As we can see, a move that's more likely is Charles McBee going to go up the inside of Wood into Blanchimont. This will be a crazy move if he pulls it off. Up on the grass, does it though? Joshua Wood might be able to hold it back on the outside. No, he does not, and that's move. Oh, there's yellow flags. We've got a car off. Where's Juan Navarro? Juan Navarro is off at the bus stop chicane. Something has gone wrong somewhere. He's been turned around, and it looks like he's got damage. What kind of damage has he got? Front wing. So it looks like he's done the hitting, and he'll have to go into the pits and 0-0 in the matter of a lap. Who is it who collided with? And I tell you what, it's Douglas Anderson. He's got no rear wing. He's going to have to do an entire lap of Spa with no rear wing. You might as well just pull over and retire at that point, but Dougie clearly wants to keep going. I'm sure we're going to see some chaos as everyone tries to navigate him, but ouch. Dougie Anderson in contention for his first win since Season 2. Juan Navarro in contention for his first ever podium, and it's all gone in the blink of an eye.
And you can tell everybody's trying to get around Pierce. We're took it right there. Joshua Wood gets around him, and now look at this. Evan Imre is going to capitalize. Byrne almost hit the wall, but look at this. Evan Imre is trying to capitalize with all this chaos to try to get into the points, and he's going to follow Damian Haskins, who's get up there, but just don't get caught yourself, Evan. Don't get caught up. And there's his teammate of Danny Diaz, Douglas Anderson, and here's Nut Martinson trying to fight off the rest of these guys to keep Evan Imre going. So there you go. Force Vizzy using this to their advantage. And here comes Christopher Pedersen in the slipstream of Nut Martinson, of course, our Season 1 champion. And then we see Kevin Jacobs sees all this going on too. He's like, let me around this. I need to catch up with Evan Imre because he's the closest person that I've got in the standings. So as we're taking a look at Jonathan Carrero going around Douglas Anderson, everyone's is just trying to get by Anderson with no rear wing. I'm surprised that they haven't black flagged him or anything, as he's caused some very unsafe driving, not getting out of the way of these guys. I'm pretty sure the stewards will have to say something about that for not pulling over. So in the end, I just love to see what happened. I'm surprised we haven't got a replay yet. We're probably just getting as Ross McFarlane gets caught up in this, and this is unfair for everyone else. I don't understand why Dougie is still going on, but as we see, Gareth Lennis hits the fastest lap of a 141, so he's got clean air ahead of the Welshman. So we'll be looking to see if he can be able to manage that lead going through, Toby.
Yeah, of course, that was a pretty substantial incident. Here's the replay of it then. What happens? And he's a long way ahead, is Dougie. So what happens? Dougie's actually got on the curve, and they've both made a mistake. So Dougie makes a mistake and half spins, and Juan Navarro has clearly missed his braking point. So you can see here, Dougie tries to go to the left to set himself up for a better run in the bus stop. In doing that, he gets too much on the curb, and that's how light it felt. Dougie probably wouldn't have even known until he looked on the rear view. But here's a good view of it from Callum Spencer. What happens? We know Dougie made a mistake. Did Juan Navarro just lock up? There's a tiny puff of smoke, and yeah, there he goes. So Juan Navarro makes a mistake, Dougie makes a mistake, and yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, you can see Dougie just got on the curb, and it's just, I'm pretty sure, I don't think Juan Navarro was expecting to catch up to Dougie that quick, and plus he was probably expecting Douglas to go maybe in a different direction, maybe to go completely wide after that, but I guess Dougie still wanted to catch it, try to drive it through the corner. But I think at that point, Toby, he was already 90-degree angle into the corner, so I think maybe he just couldn't control it to try to keep going wide so he wouldn't cause an interference with Navarro, or I don't know. It's just, there's just a lot of questions that probably won't get answered. So the only people that really know what happened is, of course, Douglas Anderson knowing what exactly. And speaking of, here he comes into the pits. So a very, very frustrating day for both of those guys. And incident cars 11 and 33 in causing collisions. So there you go. They are going to investigate whether or not who was at fault. And to be fair, I don't know exactly who you can blame, because, you know, Dougie was going for a move, and unfortunately for Juan Navarro, he was just unfortunate circumstances for him. So we'll have to see what the stewards say about that later on.
Yeah, I would not envy to be a steward on that case, because it's a very, very unique incident. I mean, they were both in the wrong place at the same time. I mean, Juan Navarro, no doubt in my mind, missed his braking point. That's when we saw the lock-up, and he did arrive with some speed. But at the same time, if Dougie didn't have that half spin, then it would have been nothing more than Juan Navarro going a bit wide. So, yeah, very unique set of circumstances, but I mean, I guess somebody's got to be at fault, and we'll see what the stewards come up with a bit later in the Grand Prix. But here we are then, with Zach Swader in 16th place. It's a bit low for him recently, but then again, the man in front of him, Craig Evans, is also a bit low down. So a bit of a unique race here. Like we said, we're not really expecting any pit stops, so let that just sink in for the guys who had to pit for damage. Not only have they had to take an extra pit stop, they're probably going to be the only ones to take a pit stop. So that's going to be very, very heartbreaking for them, because the race is effectively over. Zach Swader down the inside with a send on Craig Evans. Clean and textbook-like. Great move from the American. He is up into 15th place. Won't believe it's all this battling over just 15th. But Dougie has gone in for a rear wing change and is going again. So good to see the fighting spirit at least. Burns slightly catching Spencer a little bit. But the main battle here then is Damien Haskins versus Nut Martinson. Out the top of Radium we come. And it'll be DRS enabled, you'd imagine, for Haskins. Is Evan Imre close enough? Sorry, Nut Martinson close enough to the car from the DRS? Yes, he is. And he'll use that for a bit of a defense. Is it enough of a defense though? Look at the defense. Sorry, is Evan Imre, as he puts off an amazing defense, closes the door on Damien Haskins. He's not going anywhere fast, and this is really helping out Josh Wood, who would have otherwise, you'd think, be overtaken by now.
Yeah, of course, that's going to help, like you said, Wood. But as you can tell, whoa, they're going to go side by side here. And Damien Haskins is keeping it all on Evan Imre right here. And Evan Imre is just trying to avoid any contact. But here comes his teammate, Nut Martinson, to maybe help him out, try to maintain the gap on Haskins, because, of course, like we kept saying earlier, Evan Imre is the closest person in standings to Kevin Jacobs, who had a terrible qualifying, and of course now Evan Imre is in the points. And wow, this is very interesting, Toby. They've deemed that Juan Navarro deserves a qualifying ban for that incident. So, what are your thoughts about that? Because I'm just not sure how that would go. I mean, it could have gone either way, but I mean, it's a very interesting decision from them.
Yeah, like I say, it's a very, very unique set of circumstances, but I guess at the end of the day, it was Juan Navarro who hit him because he locked up at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, you could argue that if Dougie didn't half spin, then he wouldn't have been there, but then again, does Dougie need to worry about someone braking from that far back? There's a lot of things coming in, but I want to concentrate on this, because this is very interesting. These guys are pitting on a zero-stop strategy. Now, Are these guys just not as good as saving their tyres, or are they feeling that their time difference will be enough? Now, bear in mind, there is only 4 laps to go, and that is very true, but these guys aren't going to be going a few tenths a lap, they're going to be going a few seconds faster a lap, because these guys are on worn tyres, and they're still having to nurse them. These guys can effectively just go flat out to the end. We'll see how it pays out for them, but that's going to change up the grid quite significantly. Here we can see Nut Martinson is having to go on Damien Haskins to help out his teammate, like he says. Damien holds it on the outside, though. Here comes Zach Swader up into P11 because of all that chaos. He's still battling away with Craig Evans. Them two are still going at it. Somewhere along this lap, Craig Evans has got back in front of the American now, and it's good to see these guys are down but not out. Colin McAllister and Chester Jackson having their own private battle at the back of the field.
Yeah, Barry, I'm just curious of what the strategy is with those guys in the pit stop, and you have to wonder, Toby, do you think that these guys up front are going to react to that? Because if some of these guys can catch up, like you for like Charles McBee, Josh Wood, who did pit, if they're quick enough, they could catch right back up at the points, because as you can see, Craig McLeod-Evans and Zach Swader, they're battling for the last point, and just a moment ago, we saw these guys battling for 15th in the place. So very interesting to see if these guys will pit to counter the ones that have pit. But meanwhile, Gareth Lennon is just putting on a lights out performance. He doesn't pit. Do we see Spencer? Have we cut back? I don't think he's pitted. He'll probably keep trying to follow Gareth and maybe follow the same strategy as him, maybe not to lose place. But here comes a battle between Swader and Evans once again, trying to get the slipstream, but I don't think Swader's going to get anything going unless he can make a move, set himself up, and not to make the same mistake that Douglas did, but he doesn't. He keeps it clean behind the Scotsman, and so these two are going to carry on as normal. Hopefully see if he goes into turn 1. As we take a look, speaking of Josh Martin, he's following back as well, going through the field. These are all the guys that pitted, so it's a very, very curious call. Maybe they're just trying to go for the fastest lap bragging rights, but at the end of the day, it was kind of interesting to see why these guys pitted.
Well, the unique thing about AIC is obviously the way, if you didn't already know, for those watching, as Zach Swader did get ahead, but it looks like he's going to immediately lose it against Craig Evans. We'll ride on more with this, see what happens. Evans up the inside, DRS, that's a lovely camera view. You can see the difference. Dragging side by side, he's got the inside line, and he cuts across. The job is done. The Scotsman is back up into P10. These guys are fighting over the last available point, by the way, so that is quite crucial. I mean, I know it's only a point, but at the end of the day, it could be the point difference between a place and the standings. Josh Martin feels like he's feeling a bit left out. He needs to get involved in this. In terms with the pit strategy, it's very interesting. Obviously, AIC is the drivers are given an allocation of points to put in different areas, and obviously some guys put more into speed, and they didn't really care about tyre wear. So it could literally just be a case of some people don't have the tyre wear skill that they need to make these tyres last to the end. Clearly, that's not an issue for Gareth Lennon, because he's putting in the fast laps and still maintaining his lead to Callum Spencer behind. So he's doing a great, fantastic job at the moment. The field is a little bit spaced out, though, given obviously that half the field has pitted and half the field hasn't. You'd imagine that effect to happen. But Gareth Lennon is still pulling a gap over Callum Spencer, so I don't think we're going to see these top guys pit anytime soon. Nut Martinson and Damien Haskins still going at it, but they've got to be careful, Zach, because these tyres will literally at this point be driving on ice.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm pretty sure that Nut Martinson doesn't want to make any major mistake to fall out, because, you know, anything could happen to Evan Himray, a mechanical failure or make a mistake or something like that, and that would allow, of course, the guy that's right behind him, of Damien Haskins, to catch right up, and that would be less points for Evan Himray, who is currently sitting 5th after all that mumbo-jumbo with the pit stops, and so that'll be a really good points finish. And Kevin Jacobs did, of course, benefit from all that as well. He's down to 8th, so for somebody that started and not have a good qualifying, Kevin Jacobs has done a massive recovery. Yes, he does have some help, as we see Zach Swader making a move again, mirroring Craig McLeod-Evans, but no! Craig is just like, nope, sorry son, I'm having that position back. You're going to do a lot better to catch me out like you have been before. So it looks like Craig McLeod-Evans is learning. As we take a look at Douglas Anderson, who got involved with that issue with Juan Navarro, is going to go by Colin McAllister. And the other car of Juan Navarro, of Chester Jackson, is seeing this, going through Eau Rouge. These two going side by side through Eau Rouge. And it looks like Douglas got the move done on his fellow Scottish compatriot. So well done through Douglas Anderson. But here comes Colin McAllister with the DRS. Get the slipstream done. They're going to go side by side. But who breaks first? It's going to be Douglas Anderson staying ahead of Colin McAllister. So very good battle between those two, just to try to salvage a decent enough performance regardless of what happened to these guys. But just going back up to the field, we're looking at, I think, a 3.5 second to 4 second gap between Gareth Lennon and Colin Spencer. So as long as Gareth Lennon can keep his cool and composure and not make many mistakes, I think this may be his win. As we're running aboard with the Orgless of Josh Martin, we talked about it, V-Racer is no more. And so now Josh Martin is going to be looking to try to put the team pretty much on the map at this point to try to see what we can gain going through forward future AIC seasons if we go into Automobilista 2, which will be coming up very soon. Of course, I know you've had your fun with that, Toby, with the early access. Josh Martin makes it up the inside into turn 1, kind of forcing out wide, but hey, get the job done. Now let's see if he can catch up to the rest of them and make some move on Craig Evans. So, but yeah, very unfortunate circumstances with Josh Martin and V-Racer, but that's, you know, these things a lot more than I would when it comes to teams and organizations. That, you know, sometimes that just happens with these things.
That's true, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be the sign of new things to come for Josh Martin, but he's going to have to fight his compatriot first, and he does manage to hold on to that position. So, like you say, he'll now try to hunt down Zach Zweda, who has used this battle to build himself a nice 2-second cushion. So he'll be leaning on that cushion for these guys, and Douglas Anderson is now past Chester Jackson. And I just want to shout out to Douglas because that is a cruel way to lose, potentially to win. And the fact that he's had the pace to come back, catch these guys up and overtake him shows how fast he was here today. I reckon he would have still been right up there with Gareth Lennon, but here comes Chester Jackson. How aggressive will Dougie be? How much red mist has he got? Not enough, because he's closed out by the American once again, and these guys have got about a lap and a half to sort this one out, and they will be looking to do that as Gareth Lennon becomes into his first lap, as does Callum Spencer and Toby Byrne not too far behind. Now we can see on the run up to Blanchimont, you can really see the field starting to spread now as cars are more focused on tyre management than anything else. Now the only three that are close on track are the guys who had to pit for damage, and therefore tyre wear is not even a word in their vocabulary right now. Douglas Anderson is out for blood. He's going to just try and have as much fun as possible here and have that battle with Chester Jackson. Colin McAllister desperately trying to hang on to the back of these two, but they are starting to drop him just a little bit. And yeah, they'll have a lap to sort this out. This is for nothing more than pride at this point.
Yeah, Colin McAllister losing out because he, of course, got involved in that first corner incident, and so that's kind of why you see the speed difference between him and Douglas Anderson, because Dougie, of course, with that front wing damage, or the rear wing a lack of, after he had that incident with Juan Navarro, he's going to have a lot fresher tires than between these two, because, of course, these two got involved into that first lap incident going into turn 1 with everyone checking up and everything. So Dougie's got the freshest tires out of all of these guys, probably. And so he's going to try to make a move on Chester Jackson, maybe into turn 1. He's going to try. And a little bit squeezed into the wall, but he gets the job done. He says, thank you very much. But Chester Jackson is not going to bow down to him that easily enough. Do they go side by side into Eau Rouge? It looks like they will. Side by side contact. We're looking at Michael Schumacher-esque moves right here. And I tell you one thing, the person that's seeing this is probably the best seat in the house is Colin McAllister. He's watching these two go at it. But Chester Jackson looks like he's got the DRS, and here comes Colin McAllister. Holy mackerel, this is an intense battle. And these guys, like you said, it's just for fun. It's just for pride. They're just seeing who's got the better skill and who's got the best, who's got the better manhood. But the best person to be out on top of this one is, of course, Gareth Lennon, Iron Brew, who's been struggling the past couple seasons, Toby. They finally get a win. So we've been talking about they've been making the comeback, and sure enough, they get the win here as Toby Byrne and Colin Spencer also on the podium for this one. So very well done by Gareth Lennon today.
Yep, and I mean, if it was the man you would hire to do it for Iron Brew, it would have been that man. Now, I want to give a shout out quickly to our championship leader as this little Northern Lights battle going right to the end, and it's Craig Evans who gets the best of James Underhill. Oh, Christopher Pettersson must have tried absolutely sending it there, and that has not paid off at all for him. He will have to settle for 17th, Ross McFarlane 18th, Juan Navarro 19th, so he gets away with it, and Douglas Anderson is clear ahead of these guys now. He'll take 20th, and I'm imagining that's about 19 positions backwards where he wanted to finish. Can Colin McAllister do anything in the last dying seconds against Chester Jackson? You'd imagine he has to get a really good exit to even challenge a lap DRS. It'll be a run to the line, but he's going to be nowhere near. and that is Chester Jackson taking P21. But yes, Gareth Lennon, the man with a plan, is back on the top step of the podium. Frequent podium visitors join him in Callum Spencer and Toby Byrne behind as well, which I believe is Byrne's potentially, I think it's his first podium this season. And shout out to Valerio Campagnari as well. That is his best result since season 1. So great job to the Italian. Now we can see obviously the top 10 is covered by Evan Imre, Damien Haskins, Nut Martinson, and then this is the man I wanted to shout out. Kevin Jacobs only qualified P18, I believe it was, after a dreadful qualifying. He gains 10 positions to secure them points and vitally try to keep his championship lead. And I mean, I was saying earlier, every little counts, and that's going to be massive because Evan Imre did score today, of course, as well. So Kevin Jacobs, a very under the radar performance, but a very important one in the championship, Zach.
And especially now that we are officially halfway. So now is the time to put everything out there. It's either, unless you're Kevin Jacobs or Evan Imre, it's time to try to get what points you can, because it seems like Kevin Jacobs so far has been the only person to do anything. As here we go, we're taking a look right now. He's up at the top with 85 points, but because Evan Imre scored more points than him today, Toby, he's only 16 points behind. So, and of course, Colin Spencer, he's only 25 points. But if there's one thing about Colin Spencer, he does not back down, and he usually wakes up toward the end of the season. And so when it's clutch time, when it's time to go, the Welshman is the person to watch out for. So don't count out Colin Spencer. He may be 25 points behind, but a couple bad races for both Kevin Jacobs and Evan Imre, and a single win from Colin Spencer, boom, he's right back into this one. And with his win today, Gareth Lennon scoots up 2 positions. He is now in 4th, and some bad performances for both these guys today. They will drop down. Colin McAllister and of course Zach Slater. And Toby Byrne, the biggest mover of this one besides from Valerio Campagnari, jumps up 4 places as he's up and tied with 7th with Damien Haskins. And Nut Martinson gains some points as well. Craig McLeod Evans loses 2 points and is now 9th. And with his finish, Toby, we saw that Valerio Campagnari is now in 12th. And so now, take a look at the team standings right now. Of course, Kevin Jacobs' dominance is still holding on, but Valerio Campagnari did have a good finish today, and so they are still leading the team's championship. But because of Gareth Lennon's win today, that helped them, and they are only 9 points behind Nemesis Racing. So that's going to be huge to see what these 2 teams can do, because at the moment, aside from Forrest Vizzy, these top 3 could be the only ones to maybe look at the team's championship win, but it could go either way. If one team can be able to find out what they can do for the next race, we could have a big shakeup. You just never know when it comes to racing, but at the moment right now, it seems to be between Nemesis and Iron Brew after today.
And then you've got Force Fizzy only 15 points behind, only 6 points behind the Iron Brew guys as well. So it's still really anybody's championship in the, I would venture to say, the top 4. JSR are only 35 points behind. Like you say, all it takes is a bad day in the office and a good day in the office for them, and they'll be right up with them. So, yes, I think the headline of today's race is Kevin Jacobs is still in the lead, but he's no longer invincible. He's no longer got that 1 race win cushion that he's had for so long this season. He was able to do an impressive drive today, but he cannot afford to keep messing up these qualifying sessions. He cannot afford to qualify 18th and then have to do it all on race day. If he wants to win this championship, he needs to start being at the front consistently, and he'll get another opportunity to do that next time out in Algarve International Circuit for round 7 of the Portugal track, a track in real life which just got granted its grade 1 license, so now is able to host Formula 1 Grand Prix in real life. So we'll do some beta testing for you F1, no problem whatsoever. We'll see what the racing's like. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Lots of elevation change, but the story is Kevin Jacobs survives for another day, but for how much longer? Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in Portugal for the next time out. Take it easy. Bye bye.